Last time on Babs Bear Talk.
I'm gonna catch this thing really quick. My spare key in my wallet, and my backpack, and my keys in the car. The main key.
Which one were you trying to catch?
Rhyhorn.
Check out this neat little cup that Joe bought. I fought him tooth and nail from buying this cup because I want to think this cup was between $5 and $7. But no, everybody's drinking from it. Look how cold the thing is. I think I'm gonna go back and buy a couple and take it to Leah for her birthday gift. Her birthday was July 3rd, but I didn't have any money then. And I'm gonna take it to her and go, for the summer, Leah, you can use these little cups. What do you think? Joshito! Joshito! Not you, Wednesday. Josh. They had a bigger one, a taller one.
Yeah.
But he liked the wrong one.
How do you go back to the old interface?
I don't know. See how it looks when you open it now?
Oh.
Jory dragged that in. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, Josh. I'm so lost. But I find out where it's saved first.
I don't even know what you did. To like export or whatever you did.
Usually when I export like that, it goes to the desktop. Can you drag that aside and see if it's at the desktop?
This?
All I did was minimize what I had just now. It's not opening. I touched that, but it's not opening. It's Thursday, July the 21st. We're at work today. My customer from the car wax product, he's here to pick up his items. He's always a pleasure to deal with. I've had him since I opened my front door. So he's been with me since 2002. I opened February and I think he came on like in May. So anyways, the water bottle people are being a pain right now. So the guy called, the nice guy called, and he's all like, we're going through the bottles, putting the assembly together and stuff, and we're getting a lot of bad bottles. Well, that already upset me because I'm the one that really checked those bottles along with Jada, because Joe did very little. He did very little packing. So I'm like, where are all these bad bottles coming from? Because you expect some from human error, because sometimes when you're packing so many bottles, your brain starts auto-correcting stuff. I'm looking over there because I have some. Hold on, let me grab one. So I guess the guy called Joe yesterday evening and told him that. So today he was supposed to bring me like a segment, 10 to 15 of what's happening. So he shows up and I didn't know he didn't have anything in his hands. I came to work and I stayed in the back office at first because I didn't want him to know that I was here. And then I went and I stood behind the pallet of boxes that my customer's picking up right now. Then I heard him started to get nasty with Joe. Kind of like, that's not my problem, it's your problem, that kind of way. And so Joe was just like, you know, what's going on? 250 bad out of 7,000 that you've gone through already? I don't believe this. So then Joe handed me this bottle, right? And right here, you can see this is an extra lip of plastic that's on the bottle, which is not my fault. But if I print over it because I don't see it when it's going through and it glitches like that, then that's my fault. I'm not supposed to send that bottle, right? So I thought, that's the pallet jack. Hold on. I thought that the guy brought this back as a sample. And I'm like, how did this pass me and Jada? You know, that's abnormal for that to pass me and Jada. I'm like, well, if you're getting stuff like this, that is human error. What do you need for D? Are you sure that's D? Take a look at it. Take a look at it. Because he'll grab anything and take it out there. Yeah, this is D. Show him where I cut him a break on that screen change thing.
All right, there's D anyway. Okay, Mr. D, here you go.
Hi, D.
Oh, hi, how are you?
So where did you go for vacation?
Oh, we just went to the river.
How's Chris doing?
Oh, she's doing fine.
Jada came because she had to come see the so-called bad bottles that she did. You know, when Joe showed me this bottle right here, I thought the guy brought this back. He didn't bring back no bottle. And Joe didn't make, I think Joe thought I understood that. I didn't understand that. I mean, how, Jada, how can they say they have 250 bad bottles out of 15,356? We're that horrible at our jobs? And then when I tell him I want to see it, he's like, it's a far drive, but you can come see it.
I mean,
but right now,
my job,
wait,
but I do it well.
And this is what he's saying now. But right now, we're separating the sheep from the goat because some of them are not really bad. Because inevitably, you might find one where, like for instance, in the word P, a little speck of dirt got in it and kind of moved around, and you get a little glitch, right? I didn't send those, but Joe did send those. So he's like, no, those can pass. So I'm pulling those. I'm separating those. I'm like, likely friggin' story. Then he says, I paid you for 15,000 and I want the 15,000 I paid for. So run the rest of these bottles. I'm like, dude, you paid me for 12,000. You still owe me $800. You didn't pay me for no 15,000. Well, your check's in the mail. When have we ever heard that story before? And it's like, we're not going to squabble over money. We make millions of dollars a year.
Whoop-tees. No.
I roll my eye. You know what I told him? I have one customer in Northern California. When I work for him and only him, every 3 months I work for him, I don't have to work for anybody else in this industry. I can stay home and lock up this building. Done. But he's holding his head today though, because they're screwing me over these 500 bottles. But let me tell you what, they won't have a printer when this is said and done, because I already told them. Bounce.
Bounce, B. I wish I could say the full thing because it's better with the word, but
You can say bish.
bounce, bish.
Jada says bounce, bish. Bounce.
I tell everybody that in
you know,
business. I don't even care.
That's the name of Jada's and Joshua's channel is called Bishwa.
Bish, huh?
You do it so much better than I do. And they're trying to say bitch what? Yeah, so I'm very upset because I really liked the guy that was coming here, but for a moment there he was getting really, really rude with Joe. But then I went out there and I showed him everything that we did, and there's no way they could have 250 bad bottles. He calmed down, but I think he calmed down. I think he's under a lot of pressure because his father-in-law owns the business, so he has to please a wife and a father-in-law. But the thing is, I don't believe the 250 bad bottles, and I don't believe so much that I would take the drive there. But I think we kind of screwed ourselves over because we gave him the 5 cases of real bad bottles that we pulled out and set aside, and they can always open those up and splice them in the mix and go, see, they're all bad. How am I gonna know, right? How am I gonna know? I think I messed up on that. But just for shiggles, I'm gonna tell him, hey, I'm coming Monday to see these bad bottles. My sister's calling. I'm supposed to be in here folding that big old bundle of clothes on my bed, but I have to stop and give you guys the update. So anyways, you guys remember the water bottles that we've been doing, right? So the bottles that you see, the printed stuff, the company's name that's on it, it's not the company that hired me, okay? I want to make that very clear. The company that hired me, they make the filters that go inside the bottle. So their production manager, which was that guy Tom, he did all the shopping for the bottles and the lids and everything and the filters and whatever. I guess they have to buy components to make the filters. And then they bought the printing from me. So you remember several times I said, because Joe said he didn't want to do the bottles because he knows how difficult it is to do LDPE bottles, which is low density. So after working so hard, I burnt up my arm under that UV lamp. Joe burnt his hand in the fire. I mean, we went through hell. That guy, Joel, that was coming, that I told you guys earlier, that was a nice guy, no longer, okay? No longer a nice guy. So anyways, when he came there every day to pick up 3,000 a day, he saw what we were going through. So he knew. So he picked up the last batch on Monday. We finished it on Friday. He picked it up on Monday, and they were supposed to cut a check that day because he didn't bring the check with him. Forgot. So when they picked it up, they ended up with $15,536. Well, they had already paid me 75% of the bill, so they owe me pretty close to $800, $796.20 to be exact. So we didn't get any check from them Tuesday, Wednesday. So Joe said he was going to give them till Thursday, and then he was going to call and go, hey, how come you guys didn't come back and pick up? They had 7 cases, which is the cases whole 114, 7 cases of rejected wear. That's the stuff that we couldn't print because they were dented beyond measure. That's how they came. The rest of the stuff, if they had a dent, Joe would try to put air in the bottle to inflate it and then print it. But when you're done printing it, it just goes back to being deflated. But they were like, print, we need the bottles, print. So they had 5 cases of good wear, you know, that we didn't even open yet, and they had 5 cases of bad wear. So Joe wanted all that stuff off the floor, and then we want our little $800, right? So the guy called Joe on Wednesday, Joel called, and he was like, Joe, we're going through the bottles right now, assembling the filters and the caps and everything, and we are finding a lot of bad bottles. So Joel's like, no, that shouldn't be the case because Barbara packed those bottles along with my daughter, and Barbara supervised my daughter. So there's no way you're going to get a whole lot of bad bottles. If human error causes us to like send one, because you're packing so fast because they wanted them every morning, right? That sometimes your eyes or your brain correct the thing. The most you're gonna have is, let's say, 25 to 50. And that would be a lot, okay? And we've been doing this for 14 years for ourselves. And none of our other customers have ever come back saying that they found so many bad ones. The only time that ever happened was when we had somebody hired and the girl did it to sabotage us, okay? Because she knew that her tenure with us was almost over. She put the bad bottles in there to sabotage us. And that's why we don't hire people to do the job for us. We do it ourselves. Like, people look from the outside and go, why don't you hire people to do all that hard work? Like, you're so greedy for the money. Hire somebody to do all that and you just be the boss. No, people will sabotage you. So anyways, Joe says, bring me proof. I want a subsection of whatever you have there, 10 to 15 bottles the most. Bring me proof of these bad bottles. And the guy goes, okay. He showed up, like I showed you guys yesterday at the office. He didn't bring one bad bottle. Not even one. Joe didn't like that. Joe didn't like it that he didn't bring any bad bottles to show proof. I mean, even in court, you're going to have to show proof, right? And so the guy goes, Joe, you didn't deliver to me what I needed. I need 15,000 to give my customer, or I'm in, deep doo-doo. Joe says, you got 15,536. And so he says, well, 250 is bad. Joe says, I promise you they're not. I'll come down to your establishment and I'll look through those bottles myself because I don't believe you. And so he's all like, well, we have to still go through them and separate the sheep from the goat, because some of them are bad because it's a bad bottle, but some of them are bad because it's printed badly. And Joe goes, no, I promise you, you're not going to have that many bad bottles. And so he goes, well, nevertheless, he started getting off. If I present a bottle to my customer and it's not up to par and he says I'm not pleased with it, I can't do what you're doing and say, I'm not going to reprint them, I'm not going to this. And Joe says, I'm not going to print any more bottles. You are trying to steal from me. You want me to print free for you now with whatever's left on my floor. He says, you're not the first one that tried to do this. I mean, we've been here 14 years. We see this thing over and over again. Oh my God. Then he went off really, really nasty. And so I walked in off of the floor because I was standing behind one of the pallets, hiding and eavesdropping. And so I walked out there and I was very firm and I just pretty much let him know, hey, you're not going to talk to Joe like that. Because you came here, you saw what we were doing, you were pleased with the work. Now all of a sudden, because you owe me $800, you want to start nitpicking at everything so that you can start taking stuff off of that invoice to not pay me my full $800. And so he realized at some point that I told him, we're not going to be your printers anymore after this is said and done. I usually wait till after to tell him that, but I couldn't wait. I was just like, we're done. We're done. And I'll be honest with you, we wouldn't have printed these bottles again anyways. Even if the relationship had ended well, we would have not printed these bottles again because it was too much physically on us. It almost killed me last week to do these bottles, okay? So anyways, he toned it down, he took it down a notch because he realized you could catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. So he calmed down, he apologized and everything, and he's like, Joe, would you please print these 5 boxes for me? I'm going to be in a bind with my boss. He's my father-in-law. I'm going to have to answer to him. And basically, if we have 250 bad now and we've only gone through half the lot, then, at first he went through the whole thing. Now he went through half of it. Then I can be sure that I'm going to have another 250 bad ones. So that's 500 bad bottles. Is that so convenient that the same amount that I have on the floor that could be printed is the same amount he estimates or foresees that's going to be bad? And so Joe was like, my Joe, because that guy's name is Joel, Joel, but in Belize we say Joel, but I guess he's Joel. And so Joe calmed down, my Joe calmed down, and he's like, you know what, Joel, against my better judgment, I will print these 5 boxes for you. I've already moved the setting off of my machine. I'm going to have to halfway set up that big machine, the flame. I'm going to have to walk it over to the pedal machine, and it's going to take me all day to do 500 bottles on that pedal machine, because that's just how the pedal machine works when you're doing like these bigger bottles, because they have to dry, right? So he goes, oh, I understand it's hard and everything, but if I could have this 500, I could be at peace, because then I would know if I got 500 bad, then I could swap it out for this 500. Lies, just lies, guys. So anyways, we stayed there. We didn't have any food. We didn't plan to stay at work all day because we were done with my other customer, and he came and he picked up. And so we printed probably till about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. I came home so tired. I've noticed that when I get tired, I cry a lot over my mom's passing. I came home, I fell apart, and thank God for Jada. She went out and she bought burritos for us. So when we came home, we had something to eat. She made chocolate chip cookies. we just really, really had a wonderful meal yesterday because of Jada. Thank God for Jada. So today we didn't have to go into work. So I told Joe, I'm only going to go over there to check for that check. Well, lo and behold, I stayed home and I did a show today. Joe goes to run an errand, and on the way back, the guy calls Joe. And so Joe doesn't like to drive, and talk on the phone, well, because that's breaking the law. So he pulled over and he's talking to the guy, and the guy's like, how are you coming along with the bottles? And Joe says, they're coming along. Joe didn't want him to know that we finished them because I want to get my check first. And so Joe says, it's coming along. And then he says, will I be able to get them for this weekend? So Joe says, yeah, you'll be able to. Because he says, even if Sunday morning he could get them, it would be good because he could assemble them in his garage. And then he could take them to work Monday and they'll fulfill, because they have to fulfill the order by Monday. And so Joe says, and you know what I think, guys? I think the customer ordered a little bit more than 15,000 last minute. And I think that's why they were trying to get the rest out of us to give them like 15,500, right? So Joe says, you'll be able to pick them up Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. And then Joe says, but where's the check, Joel? Because the check never came. And Joel goes, well, we're not going to send that check out after all. They never did send it, right? Lies. Because we need to pick up all our bottles from you first, go through them, see what's bad, and then assess the damage so that we can, pretty much pay you less. So now, not only are they getting the 500 for free, my whole day's worth of labor yesterday, but now they want to keep nipping off of the check, right? So Joe says, well, I'm sorry, Joel, but you're not going to be able to pick up those 5 cases unless I see my money. And the guy went off on Joe, and Joe says, okay, he says, if you don't give me my bottles, you're not going to see none of that money. Kind of like I was just going to take some off the top. Now you can't see none of it. Joe says, well, okay, you can eat it. $800 is not going to make or break me. You can eat it because when this is all said and done, I've got my morals, right? So Joe comes in and he is livid. He's going off. I taped some of that, but I wanted to sit down calmly and tell you guys what's going on, so I don't think I'm going to show that. And so we've all calmed down and everything. So the guy calls me. That's when he called me when Joe was out there, and I didn't know why he was calling. I was doing a show. So I'm glad I didn't answer the phone. So he calls back. Joe calls him back, and Joe says, I got the message you left on Barbara's phone, and you're not going to speak with Barbara because Barbara doesn't own or run this company. I do. You're going to speak with me. And so then he says, this is easily resolvable, if that's a word. You can go on ahead and cut my check. As a matter of fact, you know what, Joel? I don't want a check anymore. I want cash. Because I don't trust you. Just like how you don't trust me, I don't trust you. You've lied and lied and lied. You talk about these bad bottles that you can't show any proof of. You get labor out of me yesterday. You guys got a free sample. And he goes, well, that's on you. That's on you for being stupid for making that free sample. That's on you because I would have charged for it. Oh my God. Can you believe that douche? So anyways, Joe says it's simple. By then, Joe was really calm in his demeanor, so he wants to talk to me. He goes, you're not going to speak to Barbara. And I told Joe, I'm right here talking to Joe because Joe was having a call right here. And I said, that's disrespectful for them to want to talk to me over you because you're letting them know you're the boss. Nobody's above you. You're the boss at this company, right? And so Joe says, there's nothing hard to this. Pay the $800, pick up your 5 free boxes that you got off of me, pick up your films, and go find another printer. There's nothing hard about this. In 14 years, you guys have come twice only. Twice. We printed for them twice before, but the second time we've just come to realize that person that bought from us, that person was so nice and paid us above and beyond. Because we had to do some extra stuff for him. And he's like, charge me, I just need it, He stole that account from them. He used to work for them. He stole the account and he was doing it on the side on his own. So he didn't really represent them. No wonder he paid me cash. And I'm wondering how come they paid cash that time. So we only worked for this company once before and then now this second time. And so the guy, Joel kept screaming at Joe that he wasn't going to get any cash. Pretty much he wants his damn bottles out of there, and me, they all get off into this, me, how could you do this to me, blah, blah, blah. And so Joe finally hung up the phone on him. So he called back and he put his father-in-law on, which is a CEO. So he doesn't refer to him as his father-in-law, but I know it's his father-in-law because he told me. And the CEO starts screaming at Joe on the phone. And I told Joe, you don't have to listen to that. You can just let him know I'll be hanging up the phone now, because legally that's how you handle it. So Joe says, you're not letting me get a word in edgewise, so I'll be hanging up the phone now. And he's all like, you don't understand. I'm a multi-million-dollar company. Okay, Donald Trump, who cares? I'm a multi-million-dollar company, and you can't do this to me. And Joe says, you're the one that has me. You're the one that has me at a loss. You have me at a loss. I don't have you at a loss. You have me at a loss. You have 15,356 bottles, of which you can cover your order, because I know that you guys are lying when you said you had bad bottles. If you did have bad bottles, I would see the proof. And so he's all like, screw you. He says, I have the 15,000 that I need anyways to make my order for my customer. So you can eat those damn bottles for all I care, and you're not going to see your $800. And Joe goes, oh, well, I already told Joel he can eat the $800. You know, I already told him I went first. So you're not hurting me. So Joel got off the phone. Shortly after that, Joel starts texting me. I'm going to try to show you some of the... Let me get the phone so I can show you the text. Hang on. Let me get the phone. Okay. I got to be careful. I'm going to read it to you because I don't want you to get this guy's cell phone number, okay? So he says... Do you want to drop the bottles off at Seychelles? That's the name of the company, by the way. Seychelle. Tomorrow morning for cash? The F? Is he crazy? You know, is this a race thing? I'm starting to think this is a race thing, and I don't like to play the race card. I said Joe has halted printing on the second color because Joe told him that he had the first color on and he was going to stop production on the second color. We already did the bottles. They don't have to know that. Due to the fact that your father-in-law, and I'm not going to refer to that man as the CEO, told him to eat the bottles. He made it clear that you guys got sufficient bottles from the 15,356 pieces that you picked up to cover the order, and that he will keep the funds owed to us. And then he texts back 3 texts in a row. Of the 15,356, around 250 were bad printing. Come on, somebody. He said he went through 8,000 and he got 250 bad, thereabouts. But some of that were bottles, not printing. And that he didn't find any more when he went through the next 7,000. Liar. And he says, that's why I asked Joe to run the 500. These people are such crooks, guys. Once it's done, your payment is waiting. Again, the F? Are you crazy? Check to you or cash if you pick up. You guys, I almost gave you guys the finger. I swear to God, I almost did. Sit and spin. Sit and spin. Not you, but him. He said yesterday, I said he set up yesterday and started printing today as per his promise. But you guys got nasty and now he has quit printing. Just like how you came several times to pick up, you can come back and pick up again. We won't come to you. Joe will not resume printing until this is resolved. So I'm letting him know, if Joe's not printing today, dude, you're not getting your bottles tomorrow, right? So you guys want to check then? That's his answer to me, or question to me. No, because your father-in-law already said he will cancel the check just like that anytime he wants. My instruction from him, my boss, he doesn't want me to call him his father-in-law, is to gladly drop off a check if I pick up in person, or cash if you'd like to deliver. I guess the father-in-law doesn't trust him. Barbara, I want this to be resolved and get you guys paid. Let's work it out and finish the deal. No, we will not deliver, and we will only release for cash. If not, we will do as your father-in-law said and eat the bottles. He said he had enough good ones anyways. I'm letting them know they lied, right? Where am I at? It's very simple. Cash on pickup. I don't deliver, and that was never a part of the deal. We were bending over backwards to give you these 500 free bottles a whole day early, but you guys want to be vicious. And he says, I am not vicious at all, Barbara, and you know that. You know, I really thought in my heart this guy was a nice guy, and I'm very conflicted about this because I really feel like he has it in him to be a nice guy, but I guess he's married to a bitch, and the father-in-law is a tyrant. And basically, he's their potsy. We knew he was their potsy already because he kept coming back and forth with a little trailer. I mean, if you're a big multi-million-dollar company, why don't you have a truck on staff? Why don't you hire a trucking company? Why are you sending your little flunky son-in-law to come pick up the scrap from me, right? Maybe that's why they didn't want me to come over there to see how small they really were. So he says, I have to do what I'm told. I'm sure you can respect that. With no compromise from you, we'll have to end this order here. Thank you for your services with these bottles. And I said, great, you keep losing your morals and do as you're told. You know exactly what all you got free from us, and you know to what extent we went to do this job. We will destroy the bottles in 7 days from this date. Good luck getting someone else to print for you. And that's where it's ended. And guys, I'm telling you, I need my $800. Nobody can throw away $800. And I'm not going to sue in small claims court because it's $350 to file a lawsuit in small claims court in California. It takes about 6 months to come up on the roster. And then you go in, and what am I going to win? What am I going to win? My $800 subtract the $350 from it for all that stress? I'd rather be stress-free and not have cancer cells growing in my brain or my body because of stress than to deal with this ass wipe right here, okay? So this is where it stands. The bottles sit on my floor. They're done. You and I both know they're done. They don't know that. And they will not receive those 5 cases of bottles unless I get my $796.20 in my hand as cash. If they come and pick it up, they might not come and pick it up. I might just have to eat the loss. Joshua and Jory will flank their father on both sides in a stance of power. And he will pick up his 5 boxes and they will take the money, the money pen, and check to make sure the money's good. And that will be it. They'll get their artwork and that will be it. If not, they just won't show up. They will take the $15,356, which I know are all good. They will fulfill their order to their customer. Now, let me tell you the one little kicker. The bottles to me are only 19 cents each. It's $95 worth of bottles to me that sits on my floor, which they weren't going to pay me for anyways because they were not going to add that to the 800 because they claim they have bad bottles. They're not worth anything anymore because I can't put my own logo on it and sell them, right? But to them, the bottles are worth a lot more because they sell those bottles for $16 a piece with the filter inside, guys. $16 a piece, okay? That's $8,000 sitting on my floor. They don't know good business. Because if I were them, I would pay the printers, the little peons, the $796 that the people legitimately worked for. I would grab my 500 free bottles and I would run for the hills. Multi-million-dollar company. 14 years, guys. I've been at this 14 years. And even when things get bad and we have to eat ice soup, we still manage to come out on top. Like the Bible says, I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their seed begging bread. That's David said that. Drop the mic. I'm done. I'll see you guys on the next vlog. Oh, the next vlog is going to be a story time. And then I'll do another good vlog, okay? I love you all.
When the red button is on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys, see, I'm doing it.
This is very, very
Ready. He doesn't want to go back on the boat. Splash.
Splash?
Yeah.